Hi, my name is Ted Sudol. Welcome to PreciousMetalsInvesting.org, and I have the pleasure of having with me as my guest today Paul Majenovic. He's the author of Precious Metals Investing for Dummies, several other stock investment books, as well as having his own website. And one of the things that we're going to talk about today is it's been widely reported in the financial press by a lot of TV pundits that the silver bubble has burst, and it's the death of silver. That death was prematurely announced, and stock has strongly rebounded. And I'd like Paul to talk a little bit about that, because he authored a article which was quoted in a lot of the financial venues, which basically said silver is not in a bubble. It will zigzag up. There'll be some short-term volatility, but the trend is overall in a positive direction.
Exactly. It tells me a lot of about the press more than it does about silver, actually, because it's an awful lot of people who don't understand how bubbles are created and how they what are they when they finally pop. And silver is by no means a bubble. I mean, probably the most telltale sign of a bubble popping is that you have a tremendous amount of oversupply. Okay, look, that's what happened with the housing bubble. In the housing bubble, what do we have now? Our national housing market is just languishing with lots of unsold property, and that's probably one of the features of a pop bubble. And can we say that about silver? No. The things that happened with silver, a few weeks after the pullback and a few weeks before pullback, the fundamentals haven't changed at all. If anything, they just keep on getting better. Silver is probably one of the few metals that it keeps on getting more and more rare every day, because you just can't find or make more of it. Right. So just to recap what occurred, and just so you know, today is May 25th, 2011, so you can come track along with me. But in April, silver touched 49.82, I believe, in the spot market in late April. And then it had a very sharp pullback. Surprise, this is what happens. It's a very volatile market. It always has those kind of pullbacks. And it usually has those pullbacks during the warmer months. And the trigger this time out for some of this tumbling was the unprecedented 5 raises of the margin requirements and maintenance by the exchange, where silver is traded with the silver futures. And those happen all within a span of 2 weeks, which is like they've never done that before. So that's unprecedented. But these things, they cause markets to be wobbly and volatile in the short term, but it doesn't change the overall dynamics, the overall supply and demand fundamentals. As we speak, what is the data saying to us? Demand is relentlessly rising. More uses of silver keep on coming on board. Any one particular feature or usage of silver by itself could easily be absorbing literally millions of ounces in the coming years. Like, for example, people mentioned about in recent years the expansion of the RFID tags on merchandise. That requires silver. And that's going to be a relentless growth in that type of technology in the world of products and services, products. But so therefore, you have supply tight and questionable. You have demand expanding tremendously, worldwide basis. More and more markets buying up gold and silver and gold. But China, India, South America, Brazil, Russia, expanding purchases of precious metals. So this is again a correction. And the difference between a correction and a bear market, in other words, usually when something pops the bubble, it heads into a bear market, which means declining prices for years to come. No, I seriously doubt that. The difference between a bear market and a correction is the difference between dropping dead and fainting. So for silver, it faints a lot, but it gets up a lot, and it gets to better places. Because what are we talking about now? After it collapsed down to like 32.80 or thereabouts, where is it now? Well, as of this morning, I saw it, hovering above 37. So I don't know where it's going to go the rest of the trading session or tomorrow. But the bottom line is it's already in recovery mode. Now, could it pull back down again to 32? Sure. I mean, but I don't really care about that too much. But you have the people who understand silver out there telling you silver will probably break through 50 and on to 55 and 60 and beyond in the coming months and years. So just take the pullbacks as your opportunity to add some more at a very favorable price, and get ready for the next write-up.
As you pointed out, there are two important things that you mentioned. First thing is that demand is expanding, and that demand actually consumes the silver. It's used up, it's not recoverable. In addition to the electronic uses that Paul mentioned, there's also a use of silver as an antibacterial agent. And in today's day, when there's a lot of concern about bacteria becoming more antibiotic resistant, we're looking for alternatives, and people are looking for safer alternatives. So that's a rapidly expanding field. The second point that you touched on in your article is that historically there have been many pullbacks in silver. You did extensive research in illustrating those pullbacks, but the overall trend over time has been in a positive direction. And this positive pullback was during the same time period when the stock market was going the other way.
Yeah, exactly. I know that's an interesting way to juxtapose it, because since the year 2000, what has happened with, say, the Dow, for example? The Dow started the decade off at roughly 11,700. Where is it now? 12,500, or up or down $100? In other words, after over 11 years of movement, it's barely moved anywhere.
Right.
But at the beginning of the decade, gold was under $300 an ounce, silver was under $5 an ounce, and where are they now? Up many hundreds of percent. So as long as you're patient and disciplined, and have a long-term perspective, you'll be able to override a lot of the short-term nonsense volatility, the roller coaster rides, etc. And you might say, well, I don't want to endure that. Well, the thing is, that's the reality in today's market. Where you're going to put your money where it's not going to be, exposed to risk. Even putting in a savings account or in your mattress, you have to worry about things like, inflation, theft, shrinkage in the value of your dollars. So there's no place to hide, unfortunately. This is not the market from a long time ago. So again, take your safe steps to keep your money growing. Right. Among them, precious metals like silver.
Right, and one of the things that you mentioned in a prior video is that you are able to use precious metals as an investment vehicle in your IRA. I'd feel much safer having my IRA in precious metals than having them invested in municipal bonds.
Yeah, you're going to see lots of crises out there. Thank God I don't live in California or Illinois, so you don't know what I'm talking about? Go look up the headlines and you'll find out immediately, all right? But in any case, take the steps to preserve your wealth and you keep your money growing, all right? And do your due diligence on the things we're talking about. Check with financial advisors so that it's appropriate for you.
Thank you very much for stopping by and visiting us here at PreciousMetalsInvesting.org. My guest has been Paul Majenovic. Thank you very much for this timely update on the short and much ballyhooed announcement of the popping of the silver bubble, which really never occurred, because silver has been rebounding nicely, and it's really good to hear a well grounded and very knowledgeable expert in the field of precious metals give us some straight talk on silver and the precious metals. One of the things that you have to realize when you're watching some of the pundits on TV, they're really not financial experts, they're TV personalities. Thanks again for visiting us here at PreciousMetalsInvesting.org.
Thank you for having me.